welcome to Taste Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about this time? Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, the PC Game Pass version or Microsoft Store version, and the Steam versions are different. So before we get into it, let's make sure you like the video. If you do, hit subscribe if you're not already. Help us out. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. But let's get started. So yesterday of this recording, but the 23rd, was the Xbox Developer Direct, and they showed off some different games. They also showed off Ninja Gaiden 4, so that's exciting. And they also showed off Ninja Gaiden Black, or Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is a redone version of Ninja Gaiden 2. But and that was coming to Game Pass as well as Steam and it's on PlayStation as well. So, they showed that off. It came out day and date yesterday, or on the 23rd. So it came out. You can go and buy it or download it on Game Pass, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, PC Game Pass subscribers are finding out that the Microsoft Store version of the game has some glaring omissions. As noted by Digital Foundry, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black for PC has a big feature discrepancy between the Steam version and the Microsoft Store version. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on PC Game Pass, for example, does not have NVIDIA DLSS, whereas the Steam version does have it. Now, I can definitely tell you that it doesn't have it because I downloaded the Game Pass version and I've been playing it, and it's played fine, but it does have FSR, but it does not have DLSS, which I thought was weird, but I was like, okay. So, the game can be, it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, so it can be demanding depending on your rig and stuff like that. So DLSS really helps with, that's the whole point of DLSS, right? Is to give you the nice, pretty graphics without the demanding performance, right? To make it look good without having to ramp it up to ultra, shiny version. But the Microsoft Store apparently does not have that option. And apparently, from what people are seeing, is the Game Pass version, this seems to be an issue, not with just Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, but a lot of Game Pass games versus the Steam versions, right? There are some differences sometimes between the discrepancy between the two versions, being that the Steam version is fully featured, whereas the PC Game Pass version or Microsoft Store version may not be. Of course, one good advantage of Microsoft Store version is the Xbox Play Anywhere, which is a great, thing. And then the cloud gaming, if you want that, that's a good thing to have it on Xbox, because you get those options with the Play Anywhere games, which is great. But it is disappointing to see that Microsoft version is missing a lot of things. So they talk about as well how another example is the game Forspoken. Another issue that Microsoft is having is, for example, the game Forspoken, which is several versions behind the Microsoft Store version versus the Steam version, and missing similar features. Another example was Death Stranding, which until the recent Xbox port was also several versions behind Steam, and also missed out on DLC as well. So I don't know what Microsoft has always had this problem. They've had this problem for a long time. This is not new for them. They've had this problem with, Windows Phone. Back in the day, like they would took forever for apps to get on there. The app would be out for like almost a year by the time it made it to a Windows Phone. Microsoft updates and everything like that. Usually Microsoft on Xbox, if you're an Xbox player, that, when a patch comes out for a game, Xbox is usually the last one to get it. Whereas it comes out on PC and PlayStation, and then developers are like, we're still, working through certification on the Xbox version, or whatever the case may be. And it's like a month, or not a month, but like a week or so later, but by the time the Xbox version gets that update. So Microsoft has always had this problem, and I don't know if it's the certification for patches at least, I don't know if that's the certification process they have compared to PC and PlayStation, or if there's some other issue. But why they're missing certain features like DLSS between PC versions, right? I mean, they're both the same. Well, they should be anyway, but clearly they're not, right? And why there's this discrepancy between the two is really quite fascinating, honestly, if you think about it. So let's go around and see what everybody thinks. Pat, what do you think of these discrepancies between the versions here?
Yeah, this is this is a Microsoft problem through and through, right? They like to they have too much control a little bit is what that means. I mean, right? Because there really probably is very minimal, if any, Steam controls on a new PC game release besides, your game has to be a game and not like malware or something, But Microsoft has this whole like certification process on stuff they release on their platform. So when, what probably ends up happening and what I anticipate probably happens a lot of times, especially in this case, is that the game was sent for Microsoft for certification probably like months ago before DLSS was finally finished and, the pieces wrapped up and functionality done. And so the version that Microsoft certified didn't have DLSS. And so Microsoft's still certifying that version, which is a patch in this case, right? Every patch goes through certification as well as games put on their storefront, which causes a problem, right? And we were talking about this a little bit earlier, because if you think about it, like there's limitations on both that somewhat can be explained by patches and some can't, right? One of the things that can't be explained by patching is like an example of Power World, right? Power World on PC storefront, on PC Game Pass, 4-player co-op. Power World on Steam is 32 players. Been like that way for a while, and so why is it that way for one and not the other? And not to mention that Microsoft seems to always be like really far behind on game updates. There'll be a patch released on Steam that addresses quite a numerous amount of problems with the game, and you're sitting there on the Microsoft side going, I can't really play this until I get this patch. And it's sometimes weeks later before the patch comes out, or a month. I've seen it as far as a month out, and you're just like, because I think you were talking about Death Stranding. They were mentioning that game was multiple patches behind on the PC Game Pass version than the Steam version, and you're like, how the hell do you allow that to happen? Is that a developer problem? And developer, I mean the game developer, or is that a Microsoft problem? Because the article kind of touts, developers aren't going to fix things where there's no player base. So is there not enough player base on Microsoft for it? Which Microsoft, they have to, I guess, share the number of players of their game because they have to pay them and stuff. So they should know. But at the same time, the developer is helping to create a negative ecosystem on Microsoft. Because even if there's only 20 players playing on the Microsoft system, you're creating a bad taste in your mouth, a bad taste in the gamer's mouth for your game on that platform. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're thinking that there's not enough players over there to fix it. Doesn't matter if there's one player. You create a bad name for yourself, and then that person starts spouting bullshit all over the web and the forums. Because all it takes is one person just to go crazy, and everybody starts dogpiling on, right? So it's a Microsoft problem and it's a development problem. I really think it's mostly around Microsoft's certification process. It just takes too long. Because I don't think Steam has this problem, which means their certification process is probably nowhere near what Microsoft's is. And to be honest, I've not noticed the PlayStation side because I don't play on PlayStation. So somebody that plays PlayStation more than me will have to kind of help give out some of that information. Like when there's a game that's on everything like PC, console, and there's a quality of life patch comes out, how quickly do you see it on PlayStation before you see it on Microsoft? And they're two totally different ecosystems, so there may not even be the same patch. But if games are like crossplay, they have to at least upgrade the revision number to be able to play together, right? Because they do revision checks and say this version's only compatible with this client version and such and such. That's kind of how they keep dissimilar packages from playing together on crossplay. So once a patch is released on PC or Xbox or PlayStation, crossplay games, I guess that would only matter for multiplayer, but single player games like Death Stranding and stuff like that, I wonder how commonplace it is for like PC to get a patch and how far away PlayStation is versus how far Xbox is. Game Pass PC or just PC Xbox, and as well as their console. Because what I do notice as well, and I don't know, Nick, if you ever noticed this, but mod support for Xbox PC games is like almost non-existent sometimes. Like when I buy a perfect example would be when I got Starfield. I got it on PC and on Microsoft storefront PC is what I should say. And after I played it for a while, I'm like, I'd like to try out some of the mods that these people are building. And I'd go out to like Nexus Mods or whatever, and I'm like, there is a shit ton out of here, only works on Steam. And I'm like, what the hell? And the folder structure and things like that are different. And I'm sure Microsoft probably blocks a lot of plugin controls and things like that, where Steam's like, if the game allows it, we don't care, right? So Microsoft is, to me, this is just a control issue, and Microsoft has a control and process issue that needs to be resolved. But the people that get hurt by this are the gamers and the game developers, because while Xbox players are waiting for a critical feature, and I consider DLS a critical function and feature, right? I don't know how many 5090 or 50 series cards are in the wild out there. But from my understanding, those cards rely heavily on DLSS to perform properly. So you're basically handicapping those cards. And you are kind of handicapping the 40 series cards, because the performance will only be better, right? Because this game really is not going to be, it's really not built for the AMD version. Why am I drawing a blank on the AMD version? The FSR, the FSR, from what I understand, and even on the Digital Foundry guy's article, isn't going to help much in this. DLSS would help a lot because of all the upscaling and stuff like that. It would help the game run better because it has moderate, decent specs, but it's Unreal Engine 5, so it's high in spec. So I think this is a Microsoft problem first, and then a developer problem second, because Microsoft is causing developers to look bad in the eyes of gamers, but it's ultimately Microsoft probably is the roadblock, the bottleneck here. So, and it sucks. What do you think, Shane? What do you think about this delaying of getting patches and functions and features into the hand of gamers in the Microsoft ecosystem?
I think that anytime you're causing a delay for a patch that makes the game better or more playable or anything like that, just because you're trying to overwatch what's being developed or what's being added or what's whatever they're trying to approve. If you got a game out there, especially a popular game, you got to get that shit out fast. Pardon my language. You got to get that stuff out there quick. Don't get me wrong. I want Microsoft to make sure that a patch, an update, or whatever is not bad. Breaking stuff or whatever. But I don't know a whole lot about the tech end. I mean, I know the initials that you're referring to, but I don't know exactly how they physically affect games. I'm just not that tech guy. You guys know that, but I do know that if you're causing issues, you got to rework your shit. And I don't understand why. See, I didn't understand that that you could have that kind of a difference on a PC game. I mean, different PCs can play a game differently, but just a version from Microsoft to Steam, I didn't realize there was that much of a difference that the game could actually be. I mean, I didn't know, like, it's kind of like consoles. Consoles, yes, Microsoft will run 4K at 60 hertz. PlayStation will run 4K at 30, or I didn't know they really did that on a sales version of a PC game. So that to me is new and weird. But I
don't think it's supposed to be that way. That's the thing. It's not supposed to be.
No, and Microsoft hasn't been used to give Sony a lot of shit for not being gamer friendly, but Microsoft has really fallen on that spike a lot lately. And this is just another reason for it. If they want to be games anywhere, then I should be able to play the same game that Steam has anywhere, on a Microsoft device. So it's a shoot myself in the foot feature, and I don't know why it. And apparently, from what you guys are expressing, it's been like this for a while with various games, all the way back to Starfield. So that's pretty ridiculous. But especially considering Starfield was a Microsoft studio, and Steam has the better version. So.
Well, it's only better because modders build mods for it,
and that's the problem. If you can't mod and fix the problems from the Microsoft version, that to me is that's an issue. That's a lot of issue. But they got to fix that stuff. And Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, whatever god dang name they're giving it. I love the original Ninja Gaiden games on Xbox, and I'm really excited to play this new one, updated with the Unreal Engine 5 and all that. Super excited, but people that haven't played it, they're going to get a bad taste in their mouth if they go to the Xbox version and it doesn't do all these things that the Steam version does, and that's going to hurt. I think it'll end up hurting Ninja Gaiden 4 too in the long run. So I think Microsoft needs to reevaluate what they're doing in a lot of different areas of their gaming market. So this is just proof they're not doing certain things right.
Right. And it's not the first time we've heard that Microsoft's certification process is a bottleneck, right? We've heard this multiple times where a game's not going to be available day one on Game Pass or the Microsoft storefront because Microsoft is so far behind on certifying it. I mean, we've heard that multiple times. I can't even remember the game that had put out a big article on it, and Microsoft's Phil Spencer even responded to it that he would help push the process along so that the game would release on time on there. And I don't remember who that was. That was a while ago. I think it might have been about a year ago.
That was Entropa or
it was one of them
or something like that.
But they were having trouble getting their game certified by Microsoft so it could be on their ecosystem. And you're just like, it shouldn't be like pulling teeth, right? It should be, and like I said, I don't know. Microsoft sometimes is just like a lot of other large, poorly optimized companies. They like to run too lean, and the leanness hurts their partners, right?
Or worse, they try to overkill it, and everything just falls through the cracks because you got.
I don't think they ever overkill it. They just they may have too many bosses, but not enough people. That's
where I'm going for. Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, because Microsoft, so Microsoft has too much red tape, and so they need to figure out how to cut through the red tape to help these developers. Because a lot of times you'll hear about a game not being able to go. We call games gone gold, which means they're ready to release. They may have a day one patch, but the game is fully packaged and when it's going to be available. And sometimes it's like 2 weeks before release date. So, and Microsoft's not going to certify that copy of the game 2 weeks before release.
Yeah. Microsoft's got problems.
And the thing that sucks about it too is when the example for Pal World is a good example. Even for this is a good example too for Ninja Gaiden, because when I see that basically the better version exists on Steam, that makes me just want to go to Steam and buy it there, right? Even though I'm playing it for free in Xbox Game Pass, I'm like, maybe I just want to pick up the Steam version. Like I thought about that in Pal World when we started Pal World, like because Pal World on Steam was so far ahead patch wise than it was on the Xbox Game Pass. It was like so far behind on that one. It was like several versions behind. And so, and with Ninja Gaiden, I was thinking the same thing. Like, when are they going to introduce, or are they going to introduce DLSS on the Xbox PC version? I don't know. Like, I don't know if they'll patch it in later or what. I don't know if they'll introduce it at all. It may never get it. And that doesn't help Microsoft, right? I mean, especially when articles like this and things, information comes out where people know that the better version of these games exists elsewhere, then the people are just going to go elsewhere, right? If they're going to spend money, and they're going to spend the same amount of money, right? No matter where you go, then you might as well spend your money at the place where you're going to get the most features than where you're going to get a lesser version, right? And that's kind of sucks for the consumer too, because it's like, if you go on the Microsoft store and pay, I think this game is $50, if you pay $50 on Microsoft Store
Yeah.
or $50 on Steam, well, the version you're getting on Microsoft Store, is a lesser version, so it should be cheaper.
Subpar, right? Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
subpar.
Yeah, it's a subpar version of it. So it's like, Microsoft, you should be selling it for like, $40.
Why
or
pay the
something
same
like that.
price for lesser goods, right?
Right. So that doesn't help Microsoft in the long run. Like none of this does. We've talked about a lot of things. This is just another nail in the issues that they have, especially with the Xbox X and S, and then all this qualifications for the patches and certification for the patches and everything like that, and these newer games and stuff like that. Like, I think I'm not 100% sure if Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming to Game Pass. Was it? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I can't remember if it was or not. But regardless, if it comes to Game Pass, let's say it does, right? And then someone can clarify down maybe in the comments if it is coming to Game Pass. But is Ninja Gaiden 4 going to be a lesser version on PC Game Pass, right? Compared to Steam.
So it does say Ninja Gaiden 4 will be day one with Game Pass.
Okay. But then with something like this, it's like, okay, am I going to get the same version when it comes out on PC Game Pass?
There's a reason why Steam is king for PC games.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fact that it's coming day and date to Game Pass, and the fact that it's going to be a better version on Steam day and date, that should tell Microsoft something. Well, if you're not paying for Game Pass, then why on earth would you buy the Xbox version? If you have a PC option, obviously.
Right. I mean, you're going to get it on the Xbox, right? You're going to get whatever the console, version is got. But PC, there's a lot of options that can be introduced in that version. And so, yeah, I think it is the qualification, certification process or something like that. From my understanding, and somebody down in the comments can prove, can, if I'm wrong about this, but usually when I've seen it before, when patches come out, usually if a patch comes out and it is delayed, it's usually just on Xbox that it's delayed because of certification. It will come out on Steam and PC or PlayStation at the same time, but usually Xbox is behind because of certification in most cases.
Yeah, I think the only time that doesn't apply is like crossplay.
Right.
Games,
or like,
right?
if something is where it has to be the same version.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they try to stagger it if Microsoft's the holdout, which we never do know if Microsoft is the holdout and that delaying a patch, right? What's funny though is I noticed that the game's not on Epic.
No.
What's
not
Epic?
On Epic. But yeah, it's not on Epic.
It's not on Origin either.
Why
would it be?
But I mean, I'll be honest with you. A lot of times when I look at PC games, I don't even look at the Microsoft storefront for it.
No, I don't either.
I go to Steam, and I'll be honest, and it's because I kind of got burnt. Starfield kind of burnt me a little bit. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, space opera games, and that was one that I had to get, and I got it on Xbox just because I wanted the collector's edition, right? And it was collector's edition came out on Xbox or PlayStation version with the stuff I wanted. So I got the Xbox version, and then I wanted to play with some mods. So I actually bought the PC version. So I own it on PC and Xbox, bought it outright both. And I went to go put in mods, and that's why I was like, and that was kind of the thing that made me go, I guess I don't want to invest my library in the Microsoft Store library because of that. And, and I did some reading and some stuff like that. And they're like, Microsoft protects its file directories and encrypts things. So it makes modding a lot more difficult. So,
see, I'm okay with protecting and things like that, but you got to do a better job at it and be a hell of a lot faster. That's just really what it comes to.
They got to be more efficient. They need to get that process down to like the essentials and stop. They probably don't have enough people certifying the games, which typical of a giant company trying to run lean. But at the same time, they need to set metrics. Like, how long should a game certification take? Should it take a week? Should it take a few days? Because it damn sure shouldn't take a month. you know, and if it's taking them a month to certify a game, then they need to fix their process, add more people, because they're hurting themselves, they're hurting the developers, and they're hurting their game, they're hurting their name, their brand, their image.
Yeah, Microsoft wants to be the play anywhere people, but they're giving the people many reasons not to play anywhere with them. So
play anywhere but Microsoft is what they're giving them.
Play everywhere else.
Yep, play anywhere but here.
But here.
We have our console. Anything can be an Xbox, but when anything that's an Xbox sucks, you don't want it to be an Xbox. So
it's true.
Nope.
All right, you guys got anything else you want to add to this? I think we pretty much chopped Xbox up here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, nope, they're flinching. Hold on. I got it.
I mean, just, you know, fix your stuff, really, when it comes down to it. Like, you can do better as a gaming developer, manufacturer, console maker. You can do a better job. Try to, right? Because you're just hurting yourself and your bottom line, basically. As well as the gamers out there that want to play or maybe still loyal to, you know, you got those people that are loyal to certain factions and stuff like that. You know, the Xbox as the PlayStation ponies would say. So, you know, you just everyone's got their, or some people have their, you know, allegiances, I should say, but you're really hurting those people that are aligned with you, right? When you're not giving them the best you could give them. So anyway, let us know down in the comments below what you all think, or you think of the game differences between Microsoft and Steam, and kind of all the difference between Xbox and you know, other consoles and PC when it comes to patches and stuff like that. So let us know down in the comments what you think of that. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We'll catch you later.
See ya.